First released in 2001 for the Nintendo GameCube in order to flex its technical prowess and ability to render over 100 models at once, Pikmin was met with pretty big success at the time. Nintendo seemed to really care about this brand new IP, as they not only partnered with Strawberry Flower to get a unique Pikmin song to bolster sales in Japan, but they even collaborated with some botanists to actually grow a Pikmin flower to help promote the game, which is hard to find much information on, but was definitely sold in garden centres across North America. There are rumours on the internet that 1% of the copies of the original Pikmin came with seeds of this flower, but that's obviously just not true. No evidence of this exists, and including secret biological matter within game boxes is probably not a great legal idea. However, in reference to this rumour, Nintendo did fill 1% of copies of the PAL Wii port of Pikmin with anthrax. Oh boy, Pikmin! I actually owned this game as a child and did not enjoy it at all, for reasons I'll get into when they become relevant. However, once it was released on the Switch, I really wanted to play it again, now that I'm an adult with wisdom and experience. So, let's get started. Our game opens with a spaceship flying through space, as they are wont to do, before being absolutely beamed by a gigantic asteroid and immediately falling down somehow, despite how gravity in space usually works. The ship breaks apart on entry to a nearby planet before crash landing on what is now known as the impact site. Our hero, Olimar, wakes up after somehow surviving and sees that his spaceship, the Dolphin, is banged up something fierce. He waxes poetic, incorrectly referring to the asteroid as a meteor despite being a man of the stars, and reveals that not only is he stranded, but he only has 30 days left before his life support fails and he dies. Honestly, this game is kinda dark. His goal is to repair the Dolphin, somehow, by finding the missing parts of his ship. First port of call, look around aimlessly, and never lose hope. Almost immediately, Olimar stumbles upon some sort of seed-making, machine-like life form, which he names an onion because it looks like an onion. Olimar plucks the plant it spawns from the ground, and it turns out to be some sort of plant goblin, which Olimar dubs a Pikmin due to it resembling his favourite brand of carrots, Pik. The very first thing Olimar does when discovering a brand new form of life is have a desire to throw it, which, yeah, I get it. By having our singular Pikmin carry a pellet back to the onion, we can grow more Pikmin, and so on, and so on. It becomes easier to perform more tasks at once the more Pikmin we have, so growing more is our first priority. Having more Pikmin allows us to start carrying back heavier objects too, since singular Pikmin are only so strong. Once we have 10 Pikmin grown, we can have them push this box aside, and lo and behold, on the other side we find a part of Olimar's ship, the engine. That is phenomenally lucky, but honestly, aside from the whole asteroid thing, luck has really been on Olimar's side today. With enough Pikmin, we can have them lift the engine and carry it back to the Dolphin, which not only returns a ship part, but also gives us some hope for Olimar's chances of getting home. With the engine returned, Olimar can fly around on the planet he currently resides on, but not return to space. He decides to take a break for the night and resume his search tomorrow, due to him having some actual hope. The onion takes off and follows him, which is strange, but convenient. But here we begin to see why I didn't like this game as a child. Olimar is missing 30 ship parts and only has 30 days in which to gather them. After getting the engine, the day ended, which I assumed was therefore just what happened when any ship part was collected. And on day 2 you can actually return to the impact site, but there's nothing we can do there until later. As a result, I thought I was stuck forever and that this game was far too hard, requiring that every day be optimal, and I simply never went back to it because I thought it wouldn't be fun. When asking around to see if anyone else had this problem, I was basically told it was a skill issue on my part, but I still wanted to mention it. Anyway, Olimar notices a forest down below and names it the Forest of Hope, in the hope that it's where his remaining ship parts lie. We begin day 2 by landing in the Forest of Hope, and immediately withdraw all of our Pikmin from the onion and have them break down a bramble wall. This takes a bit of time, which is actually relevant since every day from here on is timed, lasting 30 minutes and 30 seconds before sundown. So, your time really counts. After knocking down the wall, we encounter our first enemy, the Dwarf Bulborb. The Goomba of this game and the easiest enemy by far, all you need to do is throw a single Pikmin right onto their heads and it'll kill them instantly. Enemy corpses can be carried back to the onion to create more Pikmin seeds, just like pellets. I prefer not to think about it. Also, I managed to get my first Pikmin eaten, on day 2, by a Dwarf Bulborb. Pikmin are fragile and die easily, and while this is a bit embarrassing, it's important to remember that they function like ants. The onion is the queen, and so long as it survives, then losing an individual Pikmin matters not. I'm still a little sad about Kenny though. I pluck my newfound friends, and our numbers are now much larger. With my newfound confidence, I decide to take on this new enemy, the Spotty Bulborb. By lobbing Pikmin onto their backs while they sleep, The Pikmin can easily take them down before they can react. Or, they could if we had some more. Thankfully, we're able to run away with no casualties. Apart from Steve. The spotty Bulbarb stupidly falls asleep once more, so Olimar can claim victory. And as a result, he grabbed this next ship part just sitting in the open, the Eternal Fuel Dynamo, and return it to the Dolphin. Only half the day remains, so the Pikmin break down another wall and kill some Bulbarbs of various sizes and spottiness, and then Olimar finds something strange. Another onion, but this one coloured yellow. From the seed this one grows, we get our first yellow Pikmin. The first thing Olimar notices is that it has large ears, and he theorizes it can therefore probably be thrown further, which, yeah, I get it. The yellow Pikmin will take pellets and corpses back to the yellow onion to make more yellow Pikmin. So we have more to manage now than just one kind of Pikmin. The main task for the rest of the day is to simply grow as many yellow Pikmin as possible. Aside from just being able to be thrown high, the other use of yellow Pikmin is their ability to carry bomb rocks, which are the only way to knock down thicker walls. So I get to work on blowing up a few of those since bomb rocks are limited in each day, but walls stay knocked down forever. However, I need to pick up my pace since sundown is approaching and any Pikmin unaccounted for when night falls will be killed. Night falls, and thankfully all of my Pikmin are safe from the nocturnal spotty Bulbarbs. Day 3 begins with Olimar continuing to increase the yellow Pikmin count in the Forest of Hope, while the reds break down a black bramble wall. The yellow onion is now parked next to the dolphin, which makes things much easier. Bomb rocks can be used in combat, which is not necessarily the best use for them due to the limited amount you get each day, but this spotty Bulbarb is looking at me funny in his sleep, so it had to be done. After clearing out the path, we gain access to this box, which you're not actually supposed to be able to do anything with yet, but I didn't know that at the time. Yellow Pikmin can just barely be thrown over the box if you stand just right. If you aim wrongly though, then your Pikmin will end up like Mark here. Only, Mark is a trooper and actually swims back to land. I get more than 10 Pikmin over to the other side, meaning the box can now be pushed. Mark forgets how to swim, and so does another Pikmin who jumps in to save him off screen, who was apparently also called Mark. I won't mention every Pikmin that dies. We'd be here for a long time. Away past that black bramble wall from earlier, we find a new ship part, the Nova Blaster. I would say I have no idea why Olimar even needs this, since he sure didn't use it to blow up that asteroid earlier, but actually, he literally doesn't need it. This is one of the few optional ship parts. So I guess he really is just an idiot. My amazing aim aside, we encounter a new enemy, sheer grubs. The males have large biting mandibles, and the females are, pellets that move, honestly. Olimar finds another ship part, probably the most important one, the whimsical radar. Upon its return to the Dolphin, we gain access to a map that shows the location of all ship parts in the area, which is insanely helpful for locating them and for getting around. I nearly lose some Pikmin to a male sheer grub, but Olimar shows off that he's not in Smash for no reason and is completely capable of fighting back. And with that, that's almost sunset. So, with all of our Pikmin accounted for, it's time to rest for the night. I actually did a really good job of bolstering my numbers since my reds and yellows are now pretty dang even. That means day 4 can be spent cleaning up the Forest of Hope. If we throw some yellow Pikmin up this ledge, then Olimar can go around through the water and pass by another ship part. We commit murder on this spotty Bulbarb since otherwise he'd be in the way of us carrying it back. With the path safely secured, the shock absorber can now be returned to the Dolphin. I guess the Pikmin are really the ones repairing that ship somehow, now that I think about it. With 5 parts recovered, Olimar's search can now expand to a wider area, so we'll be able to go somewhere else tomorrow. If we blow up this wall past where we found the whimsical radar, we can find another ship part on the opposite side, the extraordinary bolt. Somehow this is mandatory despite Olimar clearly not even knowing what it does. This is true for a lot of his ship parts, honestly. Just next to where we found the Eternal Fuel Dynamo on day 2, we can throw some yellow Pikmin up this ledge, and then run all the way around with Olimar to where we push that box aside. Crossing over immediately pits us against our first boss fight, the Burrowing Snagrets. I really don't know how to fight these guys, so you might want to look away. My best guess is to stand directly under them and throw yellow Pikmin upwards into their heads, but a lot of Pikmin sure do get eaten, and Olimar also gets pecked a fair bit for his troubles. Thankfully, they can only eat 3 Pikmin at a time, so this is a battle we can definitely win, as cold as that may sound. As the final Burrowing Snagret falls, it somehow turns into the Geiger counter, one of Olimar's more concerning ship parts based on the text alone. Prioritising the Geiger counter doesn't mean I can't also grab some Snagret pellets. We have some Pikmin numbers to rebuild. I live life on the absolute edge, taking back pellets and building a bridge even while the 10-second countdown plays, just barely calling them back before nightfall. But hey, no losses. Aside from the Snagret massacre. From up in his spaceship, Olimar spots what he thinks looks like a giant belly button in the forest, the Forest Navel. We're still missing some parts in the Forest of Hope, but we can't quite get them yet, so we'll ignore them and land in this new area. I'll be real, I don't much like the Forest Navel. It's dark and it's scary, but thankfully Olimar's courage continues to let him push onward. We'll start off by using most of our Pikmin to break down this wall, and have the rest of them work on this bridge downward. Then I carefully journey near some water so that my elite yellow Pikmin squadron can grab some bomb rocks for later. And I do mean later, because first up, we've got another onion to deal with. The blue onion, as you might expect, spits out blue Pikmin. Their whole deal is that they don't drown, which is actually incredibly useful. The first thing we need to do is make sure we actually have some blue Pikmin to work with, so we'll spend a lot of today gathering pellets and corpses for the onion. Blue Pikmin are possibly the most important type, so it is important to do this. Attempting to climb up our newly finished bridge is this little cretin, the bread bug. He's completely harmless, but also quite difficult to harm, and we do need to kill him as he somehow holds a ship part. He'll try to steal our pellets, and that's our in. By overpowering the bread bug, we can drag it straight to the onion even while it's still alive. While that's going on, we'll have some Pikmin build a little bridge over to another ship part that we'll bring back later. The bread bug gets hurt by the onion, but that fails to finish it off, so I can chase it down and have some Pikmin land on its head, finally murdering the beast and causing it to drop the space float. Yeah, somehow that fit in there. Since Olimar can survive a crash landing with his face, his literal lifeboat is actually completely optional. This guy! After trying to somewhat increase my blue numbers, nighttime is almost upon us. I rush with the blue Pikmin back to where we collected the bomb rocks earlier, since only blue Pikmin are able to collect the waterlogged #1 Ionium jet. I have some Pikmin carry back a pellet, but I don't know if they'll make it back in time. The timer ticks close and nighttime closes and... Phew! They made it. Another night with nobody left behind. In fact, no deaths in general, which is a nice change. Could definitely do with some more blues though. Now that we have all three kinds of Pikmin, we can return to the impact site. That box we pushed way back on day one actually contains bomb rocks, which we can use to break down a wall slightly further ahead. On the other side, sitting in the water, we can find some pearly clamps. They contain goodies inside them, but we'll try to snapshot when Pikmin attempt to prize them out. For some reason, this is quite precise, but so long as you're patient, it's pretty easy to pull off, which earns us the positron generator, the only other ship part in the impact site. Thank goodness they weren't the other way around, huh? I also have my Pikmin rip the pearls out of the other two pearly clamps, since those pearls are worth a staggering 50 Pikmin each. With that, the impact site is finished, and we can just end the day early. And just look at those blues! That's easily enough Pikmin for the rest of the game, though for some reason, I will keep growing more. Let's swing by the Forest of Hope and grab those last two remaining parts. We've been gone for long enough that the enemies have respawned, and also there are sheer grubs eating the bridge I worked hard on half building. Stop it! Our blue Pikmin can work on the other side of this bridge, since they aren't smart enough to just carry down that ship part without a bridge. To kill time, Olimar slaughters some helpless Walpoles in the lake. Gotta practice for Smash somehow, right? He also kills some dwarf Bulborbs. I don't really know why, they weren't hurting anyone. I mean, except Kenny. That at least finishes off the bridge, allowing us to collect Sagittarius, which literally does nothing except sit on the outside of the ship, yet Olimar will not leave without it because it was a gift from his son. But the life raft! No, that's a choice! Our blue Pikmin can break down this submerged wall and then get to starting on another one, with a foreboding looking enemy behind it. Said enemy is the armoured cannon beetle, who will suck up air and then launch a giant boulder to flatten your Pikmin. Unless you jam a Pikmin right in his windpipe, which causes him to panic and exposes soft parts. Olimar capitalizes. He was guarding the radiation canopy, our last ship part for the Forest of Hope, so now we need never come back here and survival is looking likely. I spent some time just enjoying the music and the vibes, building up my red Pikmin numbers. I really do find this game to be very relaxing. We've collected enough ship parts to go to a new area, which Olimar dubs the Distant Spring. But first, we need to finish up with the Forest Navel. We'll grab some more bomb rocks since there are quite a few walls here to be broken, and then we'll fill up on red Pikmin so that we can build a bridge down into the Navel's depths. We want exclusively reds because of these new enemies, fiery blowhogs. Red Pikmin haven't had a chance to show off yet, but their innate ability is an immunity to fire. The only thing that can stop my Pikmin is the grass here, since Pikmin prioritise digging up grass over literally everything else in the game. Once the fiery blowhogs are defeated, we encounter a Wollihop, probably seeking revenge over what I did to its Walpoles. These things are hard to fight, as they'll attempt to crush your Pikmin repeatedly. If they're weighed down enough, they can only jump in one spot, so I think that's how you're meant to fight them? Take it slow or you'll lose a lot. Even their death slam can be lethal. I have my reds build a bridge upwards to access another ship part, the gravity jumper. Some of them get distracted by grass. Such is life. Deep in the depths, we encounter a boss fight, the Puffstool. This thing is completely non-aggressive and just runs away, but unfortunately it contains a ship part, and after it trips over, Olimar shows no mercy. He simply must survive. This gives us the Omega Stabilizer, which is thankfully required, as otherwise I'd feel like a terrible person. My Pikmin are unfortunately a tad too stupid to get the Puffstroom's corpse up this narrow bridge, so I go around to blow up a wall for them since it's blocking the way of my ship parts. Except, by the time I'm going back, they've figured it out. Maybe they're smarter than I give them credit for. This means, once I stop my Pikmin from digging up grass, that I can use my bomb rocks on a mandatory wall. Unfortunately, I'm short one bomb, and for lack of anything else to do for the day, I like to just knock down a nearby bramble wall so that I won't need to go the long way around later. After the wall is destroyed, I greedily have my Pikmin gather some corpses despite it almost being sundown. I realise a tad too late that they won't make it and try to recall them all, but some of the ones that were falling behind me started digging up grass, and to my horror, they are left behind. Scared and defenceless as the Wollihop closes in, I can't even look. I've learned a valuable lesson from this. I learn on day 9 that the fiery blowhogs actually can fight back, as one of them shakes one of my red Pikmin into the water. I try to push him back onto land, but in the end it's all for naught. Rest in peace, Sebastian. I put the red Pikmin to work breaking down a wall and bring the blues deep into the water, fighting off some Wollihops in order to grab another ship part. Before I can get to it though, I lose 2 Pikmin in battle. I don't want to talk about it! Let's just grab the anti-dioxin filter. I needed space for yellows so I could grab some bomb rocks anyway, so damn it, stop drowning! At least I can clear a better path to the dolphin, as well as breaking down this wall from the other day. The red Pikmin have finished breaking down the wall they were working on, so we can proceed. I start out by walking them across and having them build a bridge, but I throw the other Pikmin across carefully since I'm not risking them being idiots around the fire geysers. Then I need to bring the blues past yet more geysers and over to a small body of water. Only they can grab the analog computer, but after they've done so, only red Pikmin can safely carry it across the fire geysers. I like this, we're really seeing all the different colours work together. We're running a bit low on daylight, so I call the day there. Everyone made it back home safely, except for Jorge. We go all in with yellows on day 10 and finally pass by that door that took 2 days to blow up. Upon doing so, we're immediately jump scared by Beady Longlegs, who's actually a proper boss fight. He stamps around and only yellow Pikmin can reach his orb body. Unfortunately, it is very easy for Pikmin to get stepped on here, especially since they seem to have a death wish and will willingly cling onto his feet. We lose 24 Pikmin, but the battle is won. Beady Longlegs' body opens up Actually, if you want to know what those things are called, then stick around to the end of the video. The guard satellite drops out, directly onto Olimar, and we'll have some red Pikmin take it back so that nobody gets scorched. With them busy, we'll take our yellow and blue Pikmin back to that bridge we built yesterday. First off, the blue Pikmin uncover a geyser for Olimar, while the yellow Pikmin get flung up onto the top ledge. Olimar launches himself up with the geyser, and whistles for the yellow Pikmin so they can be thrown up to the ship part, but disaster strikes, and a huge number of yellows fall into the water below. I do everything I can, and some of them do manage to get out of the water, but they inexplicably drown on land anyway. 20 Pikmin lose their lives to the ferocious waters of this small puddle. But hey, at least my red Pikmin can grab the Libra, which is another gemstone that goes on the side of the dolphin and doesn't do anything else. Let's just end the day. The forest navel is done, but what has Olimar become? Staring at such a bloodbath, surely he has to question just how many lives have been claimed in the name of his quest. Apparently it's exactly 100. Perhaps this blood that coats Olimar's hands can be cleansed in the waters of the distant spring. After getting a lay of the land, I grab some blue Pikmin and throw them up a nearby ledge, whistling them so that they follow Olimar around the outside of it where they're able to grab the repair-type bolt. While they kind of awkwardly drop the ship part when falling down, I actually really like that ship part. It just feels fun to get. Looking at the map, it seems like there are a fair few parts that require going through the water, so I fill up on blue Pikmin and go out to sea. The water is full of yellow Wollihops who, I'm honestly pretty sure are the same as regular Wollihops. Maybe just a little bigger? They don't seem to have any more health or anything, so I think the only distinction is that these ones have had sunlight. They're equally good at killing my Pikmin. After killing some shearwigs, I get my Pikmin to work on a bridge. Except they just keep trying to pick up the corpses, and I just want them to focus on the bridge, and oh my lord, where is he going? I do some wandering while my Pikmin are building and come across an egg. There is no ship part inside this egg, so I just ignore it, which turns out to be the right idea. Apparently it contained a bonus boss called the Smoky Prog that almost definitely would have just killed all of my Pikmin, since it just goes and camps the onions and lets loose a trail of miasma that instantly kills any Pikmin that touch it. Since the bridge is done, I can start carrying over the massage machine. Except these morons would go face first into the spotty bulber that's here, so I have to kill it first. It's basically just a tougher, meaner spotty bulborb. That doesn't really mean a lot anymore. After returning the massage machine, I take out some yellow Pikmin so that I can grab some bomb rocks and get to work on breaking down that wall next to the onions. I go to fight another spotty bulber near the onions, but get interrupted by a puffy blowhog that blows my Pikmin around the place, and a swooping snitchbug that carries them off to plant them elsewhere. Thankfully both enemies are non-lethal, but they give the spotty bulber some openings, and I should really have been more careful here. Pikmin are fragile, and you need to look after them properly. The next day, I just take out 100 blues. This spotty bulber is sleeping in an awkward spot, so I just try rushing it, and to my surprise, that works really well. I also clear out a yellow Wollihop, and then get to work building two halves of the same bridge. While that's being worked on, it's time to finally blow up that wall from yesterday. As I go to blow up another wall, a swooping snitch bug steals my bomb rock Pikmin. I rush to grab my bridge Pikmin to fight it off, but it's dead and so is one of my Pikmin? I guess the bomb rock went off and the Pikmin was flung into the ground, which is honestly pretty cool. I'm able to have my Pikmin grab the glue-on drive from the built bridge, and I thankfully still have enough bomb rocks to break down this wall. Progress is being made. I still have one ship piece left on the border, so grabbing my army of blues, we head on out and bump into some new enemies, water dumples. They're basically just dwarf bulwarbs, but wet. Instead of some cool blue Pikmin only boss fight, we just need to kill this puffy blowhog in order to get the interstellar radio, which is a bit of a letdown, but also, I'm fine with not losing more Pikmin than necessary. By the time we get the interstellar radio back, it's nearly nightfall. That day went quick, but that's just because the distant spring is deceptively dangerous. It looks much friendlier than the forest navel, but it absolutely isn't, and I've been taking my time and being safe. Day 13. More yellow Wollyhops, more walls to break down with my blue Pikmin. They really are the stars of the show here, and breaking the wall down grants them access to the zirconium rotor. I also get some bomb rock Pikmin to break down this black bramble wall. These don't require bomb rocks, but it really does speed up the process a lot. From here, it's time to work our way through that wall next to the landing site that we broke through, and I have not learned a single lesson. I rush in and throw my Pikmin at the sleeping spotty bulbear, despite the puffy blowhog that's right there, and I pay the price for it. Well, 11 Pikmin pay the price for it. I then chase after the puffy blowhog and inadvertently awaken another spotty bulbear, who eats a further 11 Pikmin. That one's my bad, guys. In a desperate attempt not to lose any more Pikmin, Olimar rushes in front of the bulbear to take the brunt of its attacks, but he gets shoved aside and it eats 2 more before falling. He really did try his best. Ever obedient, however, the Pikmin are more than happy to carry back Olimar's pilot's seat. So long as the onion survives, the Pikmin are just a means to an end. They know that, and they don't mind losing 24 of their number all in one go. After all, Olimar's grown hundreds of Pikmin by this point. What are a few losses? This is the best chance at life that they've ever had. Sorry, I got a little lost there. My yellow Pikmin built a bridge, so we're all set to finish up the distant spring tomorrow. We start off day 14 by grabbing 100 reds and heading up the bridge that the yellow Pikmin made, where an armoured cannon beetle awaits. Or we would if the guy wasn't ridiculously trigger happy about us encroaching on his property. We'll need to go around through some fire geysers. Thankfully this time we can get close, and just like the first armoured cannon beetle, this one's a joke. I feel like Olimar is doing a good job of showcasing how sapient life is able to just completely disrupt an ecosystem to its own ends. And speaking of ends, here's the front end of the dolphin, the bowsprit. Up next, I grab 50 yellows and 50 blues, and try to get one of the weirder ship parts. In order to get the UV lamp, you have to awkwardly navigate your Pikmin through this maze-like structure. I appreciate that they clearly acknowledged how jank the Pikmin really are though, since they did make the UV lamp one of the very few optional ship parts. Getting it isn't really that bad, but I can see that people could find it frustrating. However, as if to make up for it, here comes my favourite part. We start off by throwing 20 blue Pikmin onto this ledge, and then get Olimar up there with a geyser. Then we can use this yellow candy pop bud to convert the blue Pikmin into yellow ones, who can then be neatly yeeted onto a nearby embankment. This is the only way to get yellow Pikmin over here, and we need the throwing height of yellows in order to reach up to the Kronos reactor. However, once it's brought down, we then reconvert the yellows into blues with this blue candy pop bud, so they can actually carry it back through the water. Is this puzzle quite simple? Yes! But is it also really satisfying to figure out? Also yes. I think had the game not had such a strict time limit, more puzzles like this and the analog computer from day 9 would have been really nice to see. It's especially nice to see yellow Pikmin have an all-important use, since they otherwise don't get a lot of use compared to the other two, and the candy pop buds went completely unused by me aside from this puzzle, which is a shame for such a neat concept. Oh yeah, also right next to this whole cool puzzle thing is the number 2 Ionium jet, kinda just sitting out in the open. Well, they don't all need to be grand, I'll give them that one. That's actually us done with the distant spring. I get my Pikmin count up to just barely above 1,000 before nightfall too. Olimar somehow guesses where his final ship piece will be, and forebodingly names it the Final Trial. Let's do this. The Final Trial is more of a large puzzle than an actual area, but I'm more than okay with that. I think puzzles are actually really neat in Pikmin. The first thing I do is grab 80 blues and get them to work evenly on 2 separate bridges. Then I lob some yellows across some islands to get access to bomb rocks, which I'll need once the blues are done. And then finally, I take some reds and have them follow Olimar along a fire geyser filled walkway so that they can push a box that's blocking the path from the other side. Once the blues are done, we can use the bomb rocks on the wall, and together all 3 Pikmin types have managed to create a pathway from the dolphin to the final ship part. Breaking down a bramble wall and entering what is clearly a boss arena, I first go around the outside to break down another wall, allowing me to grab some bomb rocks. This isn't going to be pretty. Nothing for it. Olimar needs that final ship part. He lobs a single Pikmin into the large green mound in the centre of the sandpit, awakening Emperor Bulblax, Pikmin's final boss. He uses his long tongue to try and scoop up a large amount of Pikmin, akin to an anteater with ants. However, Olimar needs to get home. He no longer feels remorse. Lobbing a yellow Pikmin holding a bomb rock into Emperor Bulblax's mouth is enough to stun the beast, allowing the Pikmin to rush him down, doing as much damage as they can. They must be recalled as soon as he begins getting up, otherwise they'll be crushed. Bomb, attack, dodge, bomb, attack, dodge, bomb, attack, dodge. Olimar has this down to a science. He knows he can go all out. After all, this is his final opponent. Even Emperor Bulblax jumping around the place isn't enough to save him. He's not the predator here after all. Olimar is. Bomb, attack, dodge. The yellow Pikmin know that this is their fate. Bomb, attack, dodge. So long as the onion survives, they'd do anything for Olimar. Bomb, attack, dodge. And then, one final rush, and the beast is slain, coughing up the final ship part as it dies. The secret safe. Olimar's life savings. I have absolutely no idea why he carried this around in his business vehicle, but I'm not here to judge the guy. With the secret safe returned, the dolphin is repaired and Olimar leaves instantly. He needs to buy his wife and kids some souvenirs after all. The Pikmin don't seem to completely get it, but they're really cute, so I forgive them. Then, as soon as Olimar's out of sight, they slaughter a passing spotty Bulborb. Olimar taught them well. They've become the new dominant species of this unnamed world. Onions of many different colours come out to see Olimar off as he flies through space, probably looking forward to just getting home, putting his feet up, and forgetting all about what he just did. Overall, I loved Pikmin. Like, seriously, this is one of the most enjoyable games I've ever played. Child me didn't know a damn thing. It's incredibly relaxing, the Pikmin are adorable, and the enemies are varied and interesting, feeling almost like creatures that could realistically exist, but just being slightly wrong. Olimar being strangely poetic about things adds to a lot of the charm this game has, and the general dry sense of humour it has also really helps it to feel enjoyable. It's easy to forget the actual miserable situation Olimar's gotten himself into by being stranded in a post-apocalyptic world, and that's a good thing. The game doesn't overstay its welcome at all, making it very desirable to replay over and over in the aims of a high score. I've always loved ants, and to see a fictional creature fulfill their disposable, yet loyal, role just really scratches an itch for me. However, I do have a few gripes. Yellow Pikmin are very underutilised, and I'm honestly not sure why I wouldn't simply want red Pikmin in their place in 90% of situations. Also, and I will not let this go, I think the game should have been clearer that days don't end when you get a piece back to the dolphin. I'm still upset that, as a child, I just immediately gave up on this game, resulting in me missing out on a fantastic experience for so many years, when I feel like that would have been easy to just be slightly clearer on for the less gifted children like myself. It's a bit of a rough experience at times, with the Pikmin sometimes just being jank as all hell, and I can see why that would frustrate people, but honestly it doesn't really bother me very much at all. It makes them feel as stupid as I think they were intended to be. And you may have noticed, but this game's credits feature no big names. You can tell this was a side project by Nintendo, and the team that was given it was just given full creative freedom and really loved what they were making, and you know what? I love it too. Do I think it's perfect? No, not at all. But this is a game that I personally am very happy to give an 8 out of 10. And seriously, if you haven't played it, I promise watching this video will not spoil the fun for you at all. Give it a try if you can, it was truly something special in my eyes. You can't go wrong with playing this. As a final aside, after I ask you to like and subscribe and to follow me on Twitch where this run was streamed live, my chat decided to make me feel guilty about every Pikmin death by naming them all. I won't read out all 181 names, but the eulogy will now pass over your screen. There is no more actual video left, so have fun and play Pikmin. Have a nice day! While this eulogy plays, I just want to take a moment here to talk about what Beady Longlegs looks like when he dies. You've seen them. They're in Smash, they're in Kirby, but what actually are they? I realised I had no idea when writing the script, but I knew there was an emote of one, so I thought I would go check it, and on Discord it's called Confetti Ball. So I Google Confetti Ball, and everything is just the emote. Okay, so I go and check all of the items in Smash Ultimate and find it listed as the Party Ball. I Google Party Ball, and all I get are disco balls or links back to Smash. Okay, so I deep dive into the Kirby wiki to find the page on the level within Kirby's Adventure Wii that contains them, and it just calls them Party Balls. At this point, I'm starting to wonder if Nintendo actually made them up just to mess with me, so I started to do a deep dive into the original Japanese name of the Smash Party ball, which is Kusudama, which directly translates as medicine ball. They were used as a spherical origami incense holder, but are typically now used as decorations more than anything else. Except apparently they do also have a variation called a waritama, which translates as split ball, which are large ball-shaped decorations that would be split open at events or celebrations and would contain confetti, streamers and messages of goodwill. Except that apparently they haven't really been used in about 20 years. So there you go. Numerous slightly off names in other media franchises drove me slightly mad just because I wanted to call attention to what Beady Longlegs looks like when he dies. A waritama. He looks like a waritama.